freedom, equality, justice, education, diversity, change. This is Hip Hop Meets Politics.
Yeah, I want to welcome y'all to Hip Hop Meets Politics, our podcast. I hope you guys going to enjoy this very valuable show today. Yeah. I am the Vegas Don, and in the cut over there is my co-host, Doug Dizzle. What's up, fam?
Man, doing great. Yeah, I mean, he's real with that. We got a great show. Shout out to all of my Latino brothers and my Latina sisters. My Mexicans, my Puerto Ricans, all my South Americans, my Central Americans.
Today, we have one of my favorite persons that I met when I began in politics. It was really cool when I met her because I met a friend and she introduced me to Latina. And she said she's a big-time activist in politics, and she's a Republican, and she was fighting for African-American and Hispanics. Like, man, I gotta meet her. And I want to introduce my homegirl, my señorita, Rosemarie Flores. How you doing, Rosemarie?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I want to thank you so much for this great invitation, this opportunity to open the eyes and ears of our community. It's so important. And actually, I want to congratulate you because you're one of our candidates as a libertarian and going against District 1, Dina Titus.
Yes.
That is a powerful seat, but you know what? It comes from the heart and your dedication. And you know what? You have to live it to be able to experience the true stories and issues of your community, to be able to become that congressman, to become that congresswoman. If you don't know what it is to live the issues that we have today, then you won't make it as a congressman. And that's what I like about you. When I first met you and you told me, Rosemarie, I want to do this, I want to do it.
Yep.
Do it.
We're going to get straight into it.
Sure. Actually, I'm an ex-Democrat from the age of 18 to the age of 54.
Okay.
I have decided to switch parties because government doesn't change. It's the issues and the peoples that change. The suffering of the homeless people, the suffering of those people crossing the border each day. So as a community activist, political, civil, and human, I decided to step up and say, you know what, no more. This is it. We have to stand up for immigrant community, for the human life itself, most of all. So I decided one day when things started changing, the new era, I call myself a new era of the Republican Party.
Okay.
Without hate, coming in with love, and wanting to make change within.
And representing the Hispanics.
And representing the Hispanic, conservative Hispanics. Because now I think that we need to look into our conservative values that we are losing each day with our own children at home.
Well, what do you have to say about Hispanics that feel like it's like, why are you a Republican? They're putting them in jail, across the border. Why would you be a Republican if you're a Hispanic?
Obama deported, and he's one of the reasons I became Republican. Obama deported over 2 million people. And when that happened, I started doing some research from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. in the morning. And I came to find out that many of the women that were put in family detention centers or in family detention centers were the unaccompanied children during his term when he was president. And so therefore, I started finding out that he was deporting not only felonies, people with felonies, but deporting people with misdemeanors. Good people were being deported. Children coming across the border, being inside those detention homes. It's not only going on now that Trump is the president, but it went on while Obama did it with a smile on his face. And I'm very angry about that. I'm not a happy camper.
Hey, that's what presidents do. What do you have to say about what's going on the border now? What can we do to help and assist the Latinas and Latino kids? And if you have a solution,
educate our community. How do we go about any issue and try to make change? We educate our community, our Latino community that is blinded right now by our government.
Can you say that in Spanish? For some
Sí,
Spanish.
tenemos que educar a nuestra comunidad hispana de que despierten. De que no nomás haya un partido demócrata que les está diciendo todo va a estar bien porque el presidente Obama deportó arriba de 2 millones de familias con una sonrisa en su cara.
That's it. Well, people that's out there and Hispanics that's out there, you understand. We're speaking to a real life activist that's out here fighting for issues such as deportation, and you were telling me a little something about deportation, right?
Yes, I was. As a matter of fact, I want our young generation to know the dreamers that are here that were brought here when they were little, when they were 3 years old, 2 years old, and they're now 30, and they're still struggling to get DACA.
Did they get their paper? Because they made it so difficult with the fees. I remember I was reading through this, doing my research.
Most of the dreamers that came to me when I was doing the protest for the immigrant rights, most of the dreamers got left behind because they didn't have the money to proceed. But then there was a time when there were nonprofit organizations helping them get to the level, and some of them fell behind. Why? Because there's fear in that community.
Yeah.
Because they put fear. The number one fear factor in that community is fear. They put fear, oh no, if you get near whatever parties or whatever government, you will get deported. No, that's not true.
That's a scary thing too.
Yes, and that's the scariest strategist that they use on our immigrant communities.
Man, and that's because I understand, because I was on the run for 18 years. So imagine if that's really like life. You can't get out of it. You got to have money to get your paperwork and your stuff done. If you don't have money and well off, what the hell do you do besides the only thing you could do is get married to American?
Now let me tell you something very, very important that I see. And throughout the years I've been watching and studying government and studying our community, our Hispanic community. These families are being crossed the border blinded with false promises. In America, in the United States, we have a better life. Yes, we might have a better life than Mexico and Central America, but let me tell you something. They have to pay a fee of $15,000 or $10,000 in order to get these people through the border. And some of them, and this is what I'm very angry about, some of them never make it. And you've seen how many children have died crossing that border.
And you were telling me about the drug cartels. Can you explain that? And then I want you to explain it in Spanish for our Spanish listeners.
Okay,
that don't know
so
English.
I was told by the families themselves that the drug cartels are the ones charging them the money, crossing them over the border with promises to have a better life in the United States. Okay, so el cartel simplemente les está cobrando $15,000 para cruzar a nuestras familias, diciéndoles que en los Estados Unidos hay una mejor vida, quizás sí sea una mejor vida, mejor que en México y Centroamérica, pero con un cobro, y hay veces no terminan de cruzar esa frontera, porque o se mueren cruzando la frontera, ¿ok? Por falsas promesas, o son violados, o simplemente los roban 100%. Sometimes they're raped crossing the border. Children
kids.
And mothers and
Man.
And they're just blinded because they want a better life.
Yeah.
These families don't have what we have here. Okay, some of them are starving. Some of them, if you look into different countries, they're going through a lot.
Yeah.
There is violence.
Yeah.
Okay, there is violence in their countries. There's poverty in their countries. But we also need to be realistic. We have poverty in the United States. We've got thousands of people homeless in the United States. It's not true that everybody has a job. Mm-hmm. Okay, it is not true. Because if you go and knock on all the housing projects and you ask them, did you go apply for a job? Well, I couldn't get the job. Why not? I have a felony.
Right.
Oh, I couldn't get the job because I don't have the good credit.
Because I smoke marijuana.
Oh, I didn't get the job because I'm smoking and I can't pass a drug test.
Yep.
Well, you know what? It's time to get off the marijuana and it's time to go out and get that job and make it happen for yourself.
Right.
Until you find one. Okay, so there's no excuse for not getting a job either. So we have the pros and the cons.
Hey, so like you being a Republican, right? I mean, like you fight. You're like one of the first. You are the first Hispanic Republican I've ever met. Have you ever met a Spanish Republican, Doug?
Yes, I have. In fact, there are a lot of Hispanic Republicans, particularly in Texas and in Florida.
Oh, okay, because what it is like our Spanish listeners are listening right now, Mexicans, whatever.
Of course.
And they're like, why is she Republican and does she see what Trump is doing to us? You were telling me the other day that the reason that they are doing it, he's doing it because he's actually doing something that's right. Can you explain that?
Well, it's not 100% right, but I'm going to tell you something. It might be right under his eyes. But let me tell you something. When it comes to people being lied to and crossed over the border, where are you going to send those people to? Under the bridge?
I wouldn't know.
In our caves? In the state of Nevada?
You can't send them back?
Well, you could probably send them back, but I mean, if you send them back, it's going to cost you more money. Why not keep them here, educate them, keep giving them the education that they need? I know I've never been to one of the facilities, but my goal is to go to one of the facilities and see what's really going on in there, because the pictures that they show is that they show a very nice desk with very nice beds, and they show lunchrooms. Okay, they show lunchrooms. So he can't put these families on the streets. He's got to put the families somewhere where they're safe and where they're going to go back to their biological, now listen to this, biological parents. Why? Because not every adult that crosses these children are their true parents.
Right.
These children are crossed by just people that don't even know them.
Wow. So what would you say the percentages, just a vague thing, what do you think the percentage of children crossing the border out of 100%?
Let me be realistic to you. The percentage change daily, because we've got thousands by the thousands crossing the borders right now. I couldn't give you an accurate percentage right this moment, just like I couldn't give you an accurate number of the profit that the private prisons are making by holding the children and adults behind these prisons.
So
so I looked up that it's millions of dollars. When I looked it up was back when Obama was running for president, and I said, shame on you. I put you in that seat, and shame on you. And I'm very angry at the fact that he deported 2 million people, and the women and children ended up in family detention centers. Then I started reading at the Carnes Detention Center in San Antonio, close to San Antonio, Texas. Okay, Mr. Castro, I would love for you to bring Mr. Castro here. He's running for president of the United States.
Oh, Castro? Yeah.
Castro, yes. I would love for you to bring him in and ask him the questions, okay? Because some of those children, we still have reports up to this day that these children are being sexually molested inside those family detention centers.
Wow. That's
okay. Does President Trump want that? Of course not. Does Obama want that? Of course not.
You can't
You
prevent
can't
it.
control every single step of the way. But you can make a way for those children to get a team together of lawyers. I know there's a lot of pro bono lawyers
Yeah,
out
but
there
we
working
gotta solve
to get
that.
these children back to the right biological. And it's all about numbers. It's all about money.
It is, man.
In order to have a biological test, a DNA test, whether I am your child to a person that is not the biological parent
Wow.
or the biological family.
And they're in Mexico, so how can that happen?
You want to talk about not only in Mexico and Central America.
Central, yeah.
We have babies behind bars in the United States of America as well. Look it up.
Let me ask you a quick question. As a Latino Republican, how would you convince another Latino to vote for Trump in 2020?
Back to why I became a Republican. I'm a very conservative Republican. I'm a conservative person. I like to educate in all levels. I'm an open-minded person, first of all. Second of all, our principles and values that we are losing each day. You don't see a young man sitting at the table eating dinner with their parents anymore. You don't see the young woman wanting to go to church every Sunday. We're forgetting about God each day, and we're looking the other way.
So what you're saying is Republicans will help bring God back into America. That's what you're saying? And the values that were set for
God
the
has
American
always
family.
been there. God has always been there in every family.
I know that, but what I'm saying is what you're saying, I asked you what you thought would be something that would attract a Latino voter to the Republican Party. And you're saying that
Morals.
Republicans stand on moral, ethical values as opposed to Democrats who do not stand on that same value system.
Right. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Hispanic, born in San Antonio, Texas. My parents are both Hispanic. My grandparents are from Mexico. Okay. So we were raised on principles and values. The principles and values that we are losing each day. We don't believe in killing children,
Gotcha.
unborn babies. Yeah. And I don't believe that my son wakes up one morning and tells me, Mom, I don't feel like a John today. I feel like a Rose. I'm not here to discriminate no one. But this is why I became Republican. I don't believe in a 6-month pregnancy, a woman being pregnant, or even 30-some weeks of pregnancy and going into the hospital and saying, or 7 months pregnant or whatever the case may be, and saying, I want to have an abortion today. Why not give a chance on that unborn child that has a heartbeat to live? God brought us into this world, and that baby doesn't have a voice. We have to be that voice. The only voice he has is that heartbeat. And he does have a voice with that heartbeat. We have to give a chance to life.
Let me throw this out here at you. So America, land of the free, right? We are the people. The land of liberty, the land of free choice. What you're saying is kind of an oxymoron for the American experience, because people came over here and still come over here for free choice. And that's part of the foundation of what this country is all about. So if I'm a woman and I choose to get rid of this baby that's in my body, that's my choice. And I have to face God on that.
That's right.
You don't tell me what to do. I can do what I need to do for me. So how does that fit into your equation regarding...
A woman has the right to choose, right? In my community, we're talking about Catholics, Christians.
I know, exactly.
Okay? I've gone into a Sunday church at the Catholic Church, and I've spoken to families there. And I've asked them, if your daughter was to get pregnant and she was to have an abortion, what would you say to her? And she right away put a cross in front of her, and she said, God forbid. Lord, I don't want to go through that. We're just waiting for a big We're going to wake up the monster that's asleep on a conservative level. Why? Yes, there's a choice, but it's however you bring up your families.
But what if it's a Hispanic male? Why would he vote for you or be a Republican?
What do you mean?
If I was a Hispanic male, I'm asking you, why should I be a Republican?
Why should you be a Republican? I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I myself went through a little experience with a male. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to say who it is for his own privacy.
Okay.
This male came to me and he was crying. And he threw himself on the floor and said, my girlfriend is going to eliminate my baby's life through abortion. What do? I don't have any rights. What do? My mother, my father, and all of my family does not want to see that. Because we're Hispanic. We come with the roots of conservatism. We just don't know how to act. Why? Because you've been blinded for so many years. This is America, the land of the free. But this is also America where you choose, you know what? I have a line, and it's Obama's line. Okay? No one left behind. And we don't need to leave nobody behind. And not on the conservative values or morals or whatever you want to call them. And yes, we have a choice. Just like we have the choice of giving a sandwich to a person that is unfortunate and can't buy one. We have that choice, even though we might get in trouble, but we still have that choice. Why? Because it's in us. When you see somebody in the street asking for money, and you see him with a sign saying, I'm hungry, I will work for food, or I'm hungry, please feed me, I need $1 or $5 to eat. Your morals and your self.
All right, so let me throw this here out
confidence
here.
comes in.
Right, no doubt. Okay, so you've got President Trump who's looking at eliminating, some food stamps opportunities, and he's trying to diminish the average cost of a welfare recipient receiving a certain amount of food stamp money. Where does that play in moral values?
And then I want to say also, how can somebody that's rich give a family of 5 or 4 a budget of $200, $300? Like, how is this system? Because I was a part of this system. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Half of the month, we broke and we hungry and starving, and we got to fight them to get this money.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about myself again. I myself came here to Las Vegas, Nevada, 1982, started working for the casino industry. And then I got injured at work in 1999. I was no longer the VIP famous cocktail server. I became another welfare recipient. Why? Because people that get injured on the job, you become a liability.
Yeah.
And you no longer become that famous VIP serving the millionaires and serving the stars anymore. I went from $3,000 to $234 a month.
So what if Trump took that away?
And food stamps.
And what if he took that away now?
Well,
diminished it so you couldn't even eat.
Now, let me tell you something, guys. You're talking about two different things here.
Okay.
First, we were talking about morals and about eliminating life. You can't mix the food stamps with the morals.
That's not true. No.
Yes, it is true. Yes,
Let me
it
make
is
a point.
true.
Let me make a point, right? Let me make a point real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it's a moral responsibility for human beings to take care of human beings. You just said before we got into this little debate here, what it's like to not have, right? And now we're talking about how this president is taking away from those that don't have. Now, how can you quantify that from a Republican standpoint? Because we're talking about morals and ethics. And I don't know about you, but when I pass people that are on the street struggling, and you know who's struggling and who's not, I feel a certain kind of way inside my spirit, and that taps into my morals and my ethics about how I was raised and my character. So when I can, I give. And that's from a moral fiber foundation that was built in my family. So my point is, what's the difference? When you say there's a difference, there's not a difference. There's a commonality between that. And I just wanted to know your opinion on that.
My opinion on that. Well, I'm not a rich person. And not because
we're talking about morality.
Hold on. I'm talking about morality.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
I'm not a rich person. I don't have a job. I became disabled from my job. Okay. I have to look for temporary work to make ends meet with a lung condition and other medical that I want to keep private.
Of course.
Okay. And I struggle just like everyone else.
But what if somebody's taking that away?
But hold on.
Exactly. That's the point.
Remember what I said, men. Remember what I said, gentlemen, in the beginning. I'm the new era.
Okay.
And like me, you're going to see a lot of new Republicans coming in with not being rich, with not having the extra money for a car, because I don't even have a car. But you see me every day rehabilitating myself and learning about politics and going out to help that family member that has her immigrant husband detained under ICE and doing the translation to get him out of there because he doesn't have a felony. You want to talk about morals? There's times when I don't even have enough money to pay for my medications.
Yeah.
Why?
And
Because I struggle.
Right. I mean, that's the majority of Americans. The
So
majority of us
welcome
kinda
to the
struggle.
new era of Republicans, and you're looking at her.
So that still didn't answer my question, but we're gonna have to bring Rosemarie back. Can you tell our listeners how to get in contact with you, your social media and things like that?
Look at me at Rosemarie Flores, and my email is floresrosemary702@gmail.com. And I am now for legal immigration because I'm tired of the families being lied to and being brought here to put into family detention centers. And I want the best for everyone.
And that's part of the new Republicans, right?
That's the new Hispanic Republicans.
Yes, and we're going to wake everyone up. We're waking the monster up.
Right. Hey, I want to thank my señorita Rosemarie Flores. Nothing but love for her. She's one of my mentors, and she brings me to the Hispanic community. I want to thank her. I want to thank everyone for listening. And we out. Adios.
Adios.
All right, man. It's a wrap. What a great show, man. Incredible interview. We got to bring her back again. Again, all my Latino brothers and sisters in the hip-hop community, we with you.
For sure, man. We fighting for you, you know what I'm saying? I want to say what's up to all my cholos and cholas out there, Johnny Boy and my little locals in 28th Street, all of my people out here, and really across the planet, man. We fighting for y'all. We live the struggle. Y'all live the struggle. We just got to join forces together and be as one and create change for us all.
All right, man. We out. Follow us on Hip Hop Meets Politics at all social media outlets. Peace.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip meets politics. Hip hop, 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 politics. Hip hop, politicians. Hip hop, politicians. Hip hop, politicians. Hip hop, politicians. Hip hop, 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 politics. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip hop.
Silver State Kid, I'm Robert Straughter, the Vegas Don running for Congress. My platform, raise Nevadans' economics, create more jobs, make our communities progress, elevate our school district, mentoring kids, show them you can come from bottom to the top in politics. See, I'm the voice of the people, from the poor to the rich. UNLV rebels to CSC and graduates. First, start off by lowering taxes. Second, be through affordable care for parents. Third, bring our troops back fighting for nonsense. Fourth, us is DACA with immigrants. See, this hip-hop meets politics, not politics meet hip-hop, but hip-hop meets politics. See, this hip-hop meets politics, not politics meet hip-hop, but hip-hop meets politics.
Hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop, 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 hip-hop politician, hip-hop, 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 hip-hop politician.
Neither of the parties doing up for the people, so vote for me. I stand for change like Martin Luther had a dream. Black, brown, white, ballin' on the same team. Let's make America America again, let's start with poverty. Help the homies get jobs, have less murders and robberies. Trump building the wall, hate this land of the free. Treat Mexicans like the Indians and us in slavery. See, this hip-hop means politics, stand for diversity. No firearms in school against police brutality. Black on black fatality, no more homeless vets in the streets. While the government controlling my democracies. I'm just out here trying to eat, keep my freedom of speech. While crooked politicians selling us out for some G's. My reality, equality, and liberty. But until I get that, I'm like Kaepernick taking the knee. Thank you G.O.D. for this hip-hop.
Hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop politician, hip-hop, 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 hip-hop politician, hip-hop, 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 hip-hop politician.
Mr. Straughter.
Yes.
What are you going to do about the education system?
I'm going to spend more money on students and less money on administration fees. And then I'm going to mentor the kids and show them you can come from the bottom to the top.
Quería hacerle una pregunta. En la situación tengo
Hey,
un
amigo,
tío.
we know we speak Espanol.
Well, I'm going to tell you in English.
All right.
So, like in this scenario, this dad brought his family, and they've been here in the United States for the last 20 years.
Okay.
And now with these propositions, they're going to separate them. They're going to disintegrate the family. What are you going to do?
Man, I just feel like if they separated me from my family, I'd go crazy. So I'm against illegal deportation. I'm going to assist DACA and Dreamers program.
Mr. Robert Straughter, I've always voted and supported the Democratic Party. My mother and father, even my grandmother and my grandfather have always voted and supported the Democratic Party. So if you're not a candidate for the Democratic Party and you're not a Republican, then what's the party and what's their policy are you actually asking the people to stand for?
Well, I'm a libertarian, and we stand for freedom, justice, equality, and liberty for all. Less government control and more freedom of choice. That's what we stand for. Matter of fact, Google it. Google it for yourself and get that info.